Hey, welcome! Today we're jumping into a really cool cosmic puzzle. It's one of those ideas that pits ancient wisdom against modern science, and honestly, it might just make you question how we read history altogether.
So here's the puzzle, right? You've got this ancient text that says the Earth is literally resting on a bull and a fish. But, we know that our planet is a sphere spinning in the vacuum of space, orbiting a star. These two ideas seem like they just can't exist in the same universe. So what gives? Is the ancient text just plain wrong, or is there maybe something deeper going on here?
So, where does this wild idea even come from? Well, you've got to understand, this isn't just some random fairy tale somebody made up. It actually comes from a very specific historical context, rooted in early Islamic theological debates. And believe me, it's been a source of some pretty deep discussion for centuries.
The whole thing kicks off with this one specific account. The Prophet Muhammad was apparently asked, "What holds up the world?" And his reported answer was, "On the bull and the fish." Now, some scholars just dismissed this as, simple superstition. But others were like, hold on, a literal reading is impossible. They argued that to really get it, you needed a key.
And that key? It's metaphor. Before we can even begin to decode the whole bull and fish thing, we first have to see how these really profound ideas can get kind of warped and twisted as they get passed down through generations. And the source text we're looking at gives a perfect example to show us how this works.
The author tells this great story from when he was a kid. He asked his mom about a lunar eclipse, and her answer was simple and, let's be honest, kind of terrifying. A snake has swallowed it. And when he pointed out that he could still see the moon, she just said that the snakes in the sky are made of glass. It's a wild story, but what's really going on behind it?
Okay, so here's the big reveal behind that story. The literal folk belief was, a giant glass snake, but the scholarly origin was actually way more elegant. See, early astronomers used the idea of two great serpents as a metaphor for the intersecting orbits of the sun and the moon. The points where those orbits crossed were called the head and the tail. So a lunar eclipse was poetically described as the moon just entering the serpent's mouth.
And there it is. That's the key right there. You have this beautiful scientific metaphor that, when it moves from the world of scholars to the general public, can morph into a literal superstition. This is the exact tool, the exact way of thinking we need to bring to the bull and fish problem.
All right, so we've got our metaphorical key in hand. Let's do this. We can finally start to decode this saying about the bull and the fish. And what's amazing is that the source text unlocks not just one, but three totally distinct layers of meaning, and each one gets more profound than the last.
Okay, layer number one is all about angels. In this interpretation, the bull and the fish aren't literal animals at all. They're actually the names of two powerful angels who supervise Earth's two main domains, land and water. The angel named Bull, or Thar, oversees the land, where farming depends on oxen, and the angel named Fish, or Hut, oversees the waters and all marine life. It's like a symbolic map of the divine management of our world.
The second layer is societal. Think about it this way. What does a government really rest on? You might say something like the sword and the pen, right? Military power and civil justice. Well, in that exact same way, what does all of human life rest on? The source argues it's the bull, which stands for agriculture and everything we get from the land, and the fish, which stands for all the food, trade, and life we get from the sea. It's a really powerful metaphor for the two main pillars of human survival.
And now for the third layer. And honestly, this one is just so cool. It's astronomical. This interpretation suggests that the answer was totally dependent on when the question was asked. So at one point in the year, when the Earth was passing through the celestial region of Taurus, the bull, the answer was on the bull. But if you asked a month later, when the Earth had moved into the region of Pisces, the fish, the answer was on the fish. The phrase completely transforms into this sophisticated, time-sensitive nod to Earth's journey through the cosmos. So, we've cracked the code in three different, really profound ways: angelic supervisors, societal pillars, and cosmic calendar markers. But this just leads to an even bigger question, right? Why? Why speak in these riddles and complex metaphors in the first place? What's the point of wrapping up truths in all these dense layers? And the answer, at least according to this text, is that every single one of these metaphors, the bull, the fish, the serpents, all of it, they're all pointing toward one single massive unifying idea that holds up existence itself: divine mercy. This quote from the source text really gets to the heart of it all. The argument here is that the force animating everything, the reason the universe is so orderly and harmonious, the reason it can sustain life,
is mercy. But we're not just talking about a feeling here. This is mercy as a fundamental principle of the cosmos.
So this mercy is what nurtures every living thing. It's why the sun shines for us, why the rain falls. It's what gives a seemingly small human life a deep, profound purpose and a real connection to eternity. From this point of view, mercy is the ultimate why behind absolutely everything.
And then the text gives us what it calls the ultimate key. The phrase, "In the name of God, the merciful, the compassionate." It's presented not just as an opening line, but as the sacred title for what it calls the stamps of divine unity, that you can find at every single level of reality, in the vastness of the universe, on the face of our planet, and deep within the nature of every single human being.
So let's tie this all together. The big takeaway is this. We started with this strange, kind of baffling puzzle about a bull and a fish, and we've ended up here. The entire purpose of these complex metaphors, according to this perspective, is to act as signposts. They're designed to guide our minds away from a simple, literal reading and push us toward recognizing a single, all-encompassing, compassionate reality that holds everything together.
And that really leaves us with a pretty big question to chew on, doesn't it? What if we've been approaching ancient wisdom all wrong? What if its purpose was never to be a science textbook? What if instead it was meant to be a kind of metaphorical map, a guide full of rich symbols, designed not to just describe the physical world, but to point us all toward a reality that is infinitely deeper and way more meaningful?